Welcome to a story that is more than just survival. It is about the relentless pursuit of identity in a world that wants to erase you. Welcome to the edge of shadow and fire, where trust is a luxury and every breath might be your last. Today, you're about to dive into the dark heart of a man who lost everything to save himself, a man who became a ghost in the machine, a double agent whose past was a weapon and whose future was a lie. Before we descend deeper into this labyrinth of secrets and sacrifice, if you are drawn to stories that cut through the noise, that challenge your perception of courage and strength, then make sure to subscribe. Hit that like button if you feel the weight of this journey in your bones, and share your thoughts in the comments below, because every voice in the darkness deserves to be heard. He stood on the edge of destruction, clutching the flames of his own history, and without hesitation, he threw it into the fire. The passport, a symbol of identity, of belonging, reduced to ash, because to stay alive, to stay free, sometimes you must destroy the very proof of who you are. There is no redemption in the world of shadows, no second chances carved in stone. Only the cold truth that survival is a brutal game, where you are either the hunter or the hunted. Imagine the crushing weight of knowing someone has been following you for weeks, a presence lurking just beyond your sight, an enemy so close it feels like your own breath. The double agent, the ghost who walks beside you, who wears the mask of friend and foe alike, who knows your every move and waits for the perfect moment to strike. You can't trust your reflection anymore because the enemy has stolen your face, changed his name, erased his past, and he's closer than you think. This is not just a story of danger. It is a lesson in resilience, in the ironclad will it takes to keep moving forward when the world conspires against you. To burn your own passport is to sever every link to your past, to become untethered and unrecognizable. It is the ultimate sacrifice, not of life, but of identity, to become nothing so you can become everything. The man who burned his passport understood that safety does not come from walls or borders. It comes from adaptability, from shedding the skin of who you once were and becoming something new, something untraceable. In that burning, he reclaimed power. He turned destruction into a weapon, anonymity into armor. And in that fire, he forged himself anew. Many would ask, how do you live when your name is no longer your own? How do you find strength when every step forward erases a part of your soul? The answer lies in understanding that identity is not just a name on a page or a stamp in a book. It is the sum of your choices, your actions, your unyielding will to persist. The double agent who followed him, the shadow that haunted his days, thought he could break him by chasing his past. But the past was already gone, consumed by flames. When your enemy changes his name, when he tries to become invisible, it is because he fears the light of truth. But the man who burned his passport learned that in the darkest places, truth is a flicker that cannot be extinguished. It burns quietly inside the soul, fueling every step taken in the night. He became a master of shadows, not because he wanted to hide, but because he knew that sometimes the only way to survive the storm is to become the storm. Think about the courage it takes to walk into the unknown, to let go of every certainty, every safety net, and to face the abyss with nothing but your own resolve. This is not a story of fear. It is a story of profound strength, of brutal honesty with oneself, and of the relentless refusal to be a victim. To those who feel trapped by the chains of their past, who feel hunted by their own memories or circumstances, know this: you can burn your own passport. You can destroy the labels that confine you. You can choose safety over familiarity, freedom over comfort. It is not an easy path. No path worth walking ever is. But it is a path that leads to rebirth. The double-aged changed his name, but he could not change what he had seen, what he had learned. You cannot hide from the truth, even when it comes wrapped in lies. And the man who burned his passport carried the truth like a torch, illuminating the dark corners of his world. This story is a reminder. Your past can be a prison, but it can also be fuel. When you set fire to what once defined you, you clear the way for who you are meant to become. Survival is not just about staying alive. It is about staying true to the fierce, unbreakable core inside you. So ask yourself, what would you burn to stay safe? What would you sacrifice to keep moving forward? In the silence after the flames, in the ashes of your old life, you might just find the power to become unstoppable. The man who burned his passport did not do it because he wanted to forget. He did it because he understood that sometimes, to survive the darkest nights, you must first burn down the stars you once wished upon. And when the double agent follows, when he changes his name, when he tries to erase his own shadow, remember this: the shadows are never as empty as they seem. They hold the memories, the truths, the hidden fires that no amount of darkness can extinguish. You are the fire. You are the shadow. You are the storm. And no matter how many times you must burn, you will rise again, stronger, sharper, and more alive than ever before. So stand tall in the firelight of your own rebirth. Embrace the power of destruction, because in destruction you will find your true beginning. The world outside is a hunting ground, and every shadow could be a threat. Every whisper could be a warning, every glance a silent accusation. To live like this means to carry the weight of paranoia, a constant vigilance that wears down the mind and soul. But this man, he did not crumble beneath the pressure. No, he embraced it. He let the fear sharpen him like a blade, slicing away the weaknesses that once held him captive. Imagine the torment of knowing that the very thing meant to protect you, your identity, your history, your roots, has become the greatest danger you face. The passport you once held proudly is now a target, a mark on your back. It's no longer a key but a chain, binding you to a fate you refuse to accept. So, with cold resolve, he burned it, not out of despair, but out of fierce necessity, because to survive the games of spies and shadows, sometimes you must become a ghost, a myth, a legend lost to the world. The double agent trailing him thought he had the upper hand. He thought knowing the man's name, his face, his past would be enough to break him. But what happens when the past is consumed by flame? What happens when the hunter becomes the hunted, and the hunted is no longer the person they thought they knew? The rules change. The game resets. In this darkness, the man learned to trust only one thing, his own instincts. No document, no title, no alliance could shield him. He became a master of silence, a king of shadows, his footsteps erased before they could be heard. He moved through cities like a phantom, leaving no trace, no ties. Every step was calculated, every breath measured, and yet, beneath that calm exterior burned a fire hotter than any flame, an unbreakable will to survive, to protect what remained of himself. Think about the isolation of this existence, no home to return to, no family to call, no past to anchor to. In the eyes of the world, he was nothing. In his own heart, he was everything. He was a man who refused to be erased. And in refusing, he found a strength that many will never know, a power born not from titles or possessions, but from the raw, untamed essence of survival. The double agent who followed him changed his name, but could never change the game, because in every shadow he sought refuge, in every alias he adopted, he could not escape the truth of who he was, a man running from himself. The man who burned his passport, however, became something else entirely. He became the storm that no one could outrun, the force of nature that shatters all who stand in its path. Now, this story is more than just a tale of espionage or betrayal. It is a mirror held up to each of us. How often do we cling to old identities, old stories, old wounds that no longer serve us? How often do we carry the weight of who we were instead of becoming who we are meant to be? The man who burned his passport teaches us that sometimes the greatest act of courage is to let go, to destroy what confines us so we can be free. Freedom, however, is never given. It is taken, snatched from the jaws of fear and chaos. It is forged in the fires of sacrifice. This man chose to burn everything to stay alive, and in that choice, he found freedom, not just from danger, but from the chains of his own past. Ask yourself now, what are you willing to burn to stay safe? What parts of your past are holding you back from becoming the person you are meant to be? What lies do you tell yourself just to keep moving forward? The double agent followed. He changed his name, but he could never change the truth. And neither can you. The truth inside you is a flame that no shadow can swallow. In your darkest moments, when the weight of the world threatens to crush your spirit, remember the man who burned his passport. Remember that safety is not a place. It is a state of mind. It is a fortress built not of walls, but of willpower and resilience. It is the courage to stand alone, to fight invisible enemies, to become a ghost in your own story. This path is not for the faint of heart. It demands sacrifice, loss, and a willingness to walk through fire. But on the other side of that fire, there is rebirth. There is a version of you stronger, sharper, more alive than ever before. You may lose names, faces, place, but you will never lose your essence, your spirit, your power to rise. So when the double agent changes his name, when he erases his past and tries to haunt your steps, remember this: you are not the one running. You are the one setting the fire. You are the flame that burns away the lies, the fear, the chains. You are the force the shadows cannot contain. Embrace the darkness, not as a prison, but as a crucible. Let it refine you. Let it forge you into someone unrecognizable to those who once sought to break you. The man who burned his passport did not disappear. He transformed. And so can you. Stand in the ashes of your old life and see not death, but possibility. See the map to your new identity written in the smoke and fire. The world may try to chase you, to capture you, to define you by your past. But you are the author of your own story. You hold the match. You decide what burns. Let the double agent follow. Let him change his name. Let him fade into the night. You will be the fire that never dies, the storm that reshapes the world, the shadow that commands respect, because to burn your own passport is not to lose yourself. It is to find yourself. In the flame, in the fire, in the relentless pursuit of survival, you become immortal. You become unstoppable. There is a cruel poetry in the act of burning your own passport. It is the severing of roots that once grounded you, the deliberate destruction of a map that once charted your way through the world. And yet, from that very destruction, a new path emerges, one forged not by the certainties of the past, but by the wild unpredictability of the future. This path is not laid out in black and white. It is carved in shades of shadow and flame, uncertainty and relentless will. The man who burned his passport did not do so lightly. He knew what he was giving up: the comfort of a name, the illusion of safety tied to a nationality or a paper. He gave up familiarity and acceptance, but he understood one vital truth. Sometimes, to truly be safe, to truly live, you must disappear, not to hide in fear, but to hide in plain sight, to become a ghost so elusive that even the most relentless hunters lose their scent. He became a master of vanishing, a shadow slipping through cracks that others never even noticed. His life turned into a series of silent battles fought in the twilight against the relentless double agent, against the ghosts of his own past, against the fracture of his own identity. But with each step into the darkness, his resolve grew. He was no longer a man defined by borders or documents. He was defined by the fierce fire burning inside him, a fire that refused to be extinguished by fear or deception. And what of the double agent, the man who followed for weeks, changing his name like a chameleon changing skin, thinking he could outpace the storm? He is the embodiment of everything that tries to hold us down. The lies we tell ourselves, the people who try to control us, the past that chases us like a relentless shadow. But no matter how many names he adopts, no matter how many faces he wears, he cannot outrun the truth. And the truth is that the man who burned his passport has already disappeared. He is no longer a target. He is the hunter. This story is not just a spy thriller. It is a metaphor for life itself. We all carry passports, not in the form of paper, but in the form of identities, beliefs, fears, and memories. We carry the weight of who we were, of where we came from. And sometimes, the only way to survive is to burn it all down, to shed the skins that no longer fit, to break free from the cages we built ourselves. This is the brutal beauty of transformation, the pain of loss intertwined with the thrill of becoming. When you burn your own passport, you are not just escaping. You are choosing freedom. Freedom from the expectations of others. Freedom from the chains of your history. Freedom from the ghosts that haunt your steps. You become untethered, and in that untethering lies power, raw, unfiltered, and unstoppable. This journey is dark and lonely. There will be moments when the silence is deafening, when the weight of solitude presses down like a suffocating shroud. But in those moments, remember the fire inside you, the fire that survived the flames of your own destruction. Remember that every step you take away from your old self is a step towards something greater. You are becoming a force that no double agent, no shadow, no enemy can contain. The world tries to label us, to confine us, to define us by our past. But the man who burned his passport teaches us a vital lesson. Identity is not something given. It is something claimed, something created, something fought for. You are not bound by the pages of a book or the stamps on a piece of paper. You are bound only by your courage to redefine yourself. So, when the double agent follows you, when he changes his name and tries to erase his trail, do not fear. You are already beyond his reach. You are the flame that consumes the night, the shadow that dances just out of reach, the storm that breaks every chain. You are the embodiment of rebirth through fire. Ask yourself now, what parts of your past do you need to burn? What old identities are holding you back from becoming the person you were always meant to be? What fears must you face? What truths must you accept? The path ahead will not be easy. It will demand everything you have and more. But on the other side of the fire lies freedom, lies strength, lies the power to rise again and again, no matter how many times you fall. This is your call to action, your moment to become the fire, to burn your own passport, to erase your old name, and to walk into the unknown with your head held high. Because safety is not a place. It is a state of mind. It is the choice to stand unbroken in the face of the storm. Stand now and make your decision. Burn what no longer serves you. Embrace the darkness not as an end, but as a beginning. Become the shadow that no one can catch, the flame that never dies. Your past is ashes. Your future is fire. Rise from the ashes. Become unstoppable. Become immortal. And now we arrive at the end, or maybe the beginning, because this is not the kind of story that ends when the fire goes out or when the footsteps fade. This is the kind of story that lingers, that burns inside you long after the screen goes dark. The man who burned his own passport just to stay safe did more than escape danger. He did more than disappear. He rewrote the meaning of survival. He gave us a blueprint, not for running from fear, but for rising above it. Not for losing ourselves, but for choosing who we become. He understood something that few ever will, that true strength is not found in comfort. It's not found in permission, approval, or certainty. True strength is born in chaos, in solitude, in the sharp silence of making impossible choices. It's born in the moment you light the match and watch your old identity go up in flames, knowing full well that what burns behind you will never return. You see, we are all carrying something, a name that no longer fits, a story that limits us, a history that others wrote for us. And deep down, many of us are just waiting for someone to give us permission to change, waiting for someone to tell us it's okay to walk away from the life we've known, even if that life is slowly suffocating us. But no one is coming to save you. No permission slip will arrive in the mail. You are the only one who can burn what must be burned. This is your fire, your choice, your moment. The world wants you to stay in line, to follow the scripts, to keep your head down, to wear the mask and play the part. But the man who burned his passport didn't play their game. He rewrote the rules. He erased the lines. He set fire to the script and walked off the stage, not as an act of rebellion, but as an act of truth. And here's the truth he discovered, the kind that doesn't come wrapped in comfort, but in scars. You are not your name. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are what you choose to become. The double agent followed him, studied him, mimicked him. But even after changing his name, the agent still played by the old rules. He ran from the truth. But you don't have to run. You can burn what must be burned. You can face the fire. You can walk through it. You can rise from it. Because here's the secret, and it's the one the double agent never understood. You don't survive the fire by avoiding it. You survive by becoming it. And that fire, that relentless, quiet, raging power, it's already inside you. It's in your voice, your choices, your silence, your courage. It's there when you feel forgotten. It's there when you walk alone. It's there when the world turns cold and you still refuse to break. So when the time comes, and it always comes, when you must choose between staying safe within the lies or burning it all for a chance at truth, choose the fire. Choose to burn the version of yourself that was built from fear. Choose to rise from the ashes of who they said you had to be. Choose to become the weapon no one saw coming. The world will try to define you. The double agents of your life, the people, the systems, the shadows. They will follow you, watch you, try to turn you into something familiar and small. But they will never understand what you already know now, that your power is not in what they see. Your power is in what they can never trace, never hold, never predict, never erase. Your power is in becoming the kind of person who no longer needs a passport to know who they are. Because the man who burned his passport didn't lose himself. He found himself in the flames. And now it's your turn. Light the match, burn the past, become the fire, and walk forward, fearless, nameless, free.